Welcome to the Convey Culture podcast, where we delve into the vibrant tapestry of generations Alpha, Z, and Millennials. We're here to amplify their voices, break down biases, and shatter stereotypes. Get ready to explore the fascinating world of culture and identity and discover the true impact it has on our lives. Join us on this captivating journey. This is the Convey Culture podcast. Hi, and welcome to the Convey Culture podcast, where we explore the expressions of culture and identity of upcoming generations. I have with me today Larissa Yee, and I remember when I first met Larissa, I was blown away by not only just her ability to tell stories and really connect to culture, but also she has an incredible pulse on beauty and fashion and trends. And she was so great at really providing a perspective of her generation in a way that was tangible, that as a marketer you could really act upon. So Larissa, I am so excited to have you here today.
I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Bianca.
Of course, you were one of my first choices. So I love to have everyone just talk about who they are. So how do you identify regarding race, ethnicity, nationality, and do you feel close to your cultural identity?
Yeah, so I grew up in Hawaii. I would say that I identify as someone who is mixed. So my dad, he's Native Hawaiian and Chinese, and my mom is, some mixtures of all different kinds of white. So that's kind of always been a part of like who I am. Like I love to, talk about how I am this mixed person with all kinds of different backgrounds. Um, but I would say like growing up in Hawaii, it already is a huge melting pot of different cultures. So I really feel like I'm lucky as someone who grew up mixed race to, be in an environment where there's also a lot of mixed people. Um,
Yes.
so that's something that I really hold close to my heart, and it's really important to me.
And you're not living in Hawaii now. So how often do you get to go home? Is that something you yearn for? I feel like anyone who gets to have every day in beautiful Hawaii yearns for it. But also you moved away to pursue a career. So how's that?
Yeah, it's funny because when I was in high school and I was ready to go to college, I was so excited because I would say I am an island girl, but I am also a city girl. So I was like, I'm excited to go to the city, and be in a new environment, and I love that. But there will be, phases where I'm like, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to be around, my family, and just being in that scenery and environment. It's just really warming, and I love it. So I try to go back, at least a few times a year, and when I do, I am sure to like get the right amount of time there where I just, refill my cup of
Oh,
being home.
you'd have to. When I was running track in college, I was recruited to go to the University of Hawaii, and I went there, and I'm like, this is so beautiful, but I just couldn't imagine every day living there. And I was like, well, how do people get home? Like, this is a
Yeah.
very expensive ticket for my parents. And I know when we met, we talked a lot about you exploring. Like, you've not just branched out and left Hawaii, you've kind of been able to take your career and have different global experiences. So, how did that kind of, how did leaving outside the country really shape
Mhm.
your identity and self discovery?
Yeah, that's I love that question because I studied abroad, or I did an internship abroad with a jewelry company in London for 2 months. And that is almost like on the other side of the globe as Hawaii. And it's funny because all the kids that also had internships, like nobody else was even from the Pacific Northwest area in terms of like going to school, and nobody was from Hawaii. So I was like the only one that was mixed, and also the only one that was like from Hawaii. So that was really cool to even meet the employees at the company that I was interning with, because they were just blown away that I was from Hawaii and now I'm in London doing that internship. So, bringing my experiences of just being from the US, being a young woman, it's all those things I was able to, share with them and talk to them about my experiences. So that was a really cool experience.
To go. I feel like I always want to encourage my kids. I'm like, go do internships other places because you get to understand, you'd have a different viewpoint of culture. I also feel like you look at America differently when you come back. I think it changes the way you look at our society. It gives you perspective. I think it's healthy. Like, move about the globe, go experience new things.
Exactly. I find that like so amazing that you tell your kids that, because my mom was the one that told me, she's like, you need to do something abroad, and I was like, no, I've been abroad, I visited, I don't really need to do it, and she's like, you have to do it, like just see what there is, and I am just so grateful that I did it. So
Go moms.
yes.
Now, we're both in marketing, so we know we've sat in those tables where you hear your culture or identity being talked about, or you hear them talk about Gen Z, and you're like, okay, that's kind of true, but where did you hear that? So, do you think brands and marketers are doing a good job catering to young adults like you?
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. I just feel like with so much social media now and user generated content, they're like it's almost endless about if brands are strategic enough to connect to those important creators, then you can feel seen, and included. Um, like being someone who's mixed, I've always felt like I'm not Asian enough, or I'm not
Yeah.
Hawaiian enough, or I'm not white enough. Like nobody, you'll see, people out there that are modeling these brands, and sometimes they're just one ethnicity, or they're two, but they're never really like your ethnicity, So, and I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with that. And so, with user generated content, I've seen creators that like one creator in particularly, she's from Hawaii and she's mixed, like Asian, and she's half Asian, half white, and I'm like everything she posts, like I just love her content, so I'm very influenced by her.
I do feel that brands have an advantage. When I was growing up, I felt like beauty is not what it was. Like even
Hmm.
the access, like I genuinely feel like Pat McGrath and Savage Fenty completely changed the game for what you want for inclusive beauty.
Hmm.
But I also feel like influencers did it because influencers held them to the fire when things didn't look right, when your face was chalky, when you didn't have the right color palette, when there
Hmm.
wasn't yellow undertones, they held them to the fire. And so I don't feel sometimes that influencers get the credit they should for
Yeah.
completely evolving the beauty industry because they've
Hmm.
shoved it forward in a way that it needed to happen, I think.
Yes, I love that the shade range has grown, and I think that is so important. So I just seeing how it has evolved, it's just been amazing. I think even from when I was like in middle school maybe, and I was like just getting into makeup, and seeing from where it was then till now, it's just crazy.
It really is. Well, okay, so on that note with social media, I'm curious because I grew up in a generation before filters. So your face was your face, it was what you got, right? Like, but it's interesting to see there's some profiles I will go to and that person will never not have a filter. And so from your perspective, at least from your generation, do you feel that has an impact on you? Do you see it and you're like, is that their makeup? Is that like how much do you even think about that when you're looking at social media?
Oh my gosh. So that is also a great question. I feel like there's so many influencers out there where I'm just like, oh, how do they look like that every single day? And the truth is, like, I forget that they probably, maybe they edit that picture, maybe they don't, but it's possible that they could. And, you just like sometimes it, it I think can cloud your vision of like what life should be like or how people should look. So, I think about it from time to time, and I'm just like, you just have to remember, like, sometimes social media is a highlight reel, or
Yeah.
people will, enhance things, and that's just how it is, whatever makes you feel good. But it's sometimes just important to remember to like
Who
not
you are.
everything. Just be realistic with yourself, I guess. I don't know.
Isn't that the case? Because even for me, I'll excuse me, I'll see filters of something, and I'm like, "Ooh, is that? Look how great I'd look if I did this." Like the freckle
Yes.
filter. I'm
Hmm.
oddly obsessed with this freckle filter, which I never post anything, but I'm like, I feel like that might be my jam. So it's just interesting to see how the filters do affect the way you think you should look or way potentially you
Oh,
want to look.
absolutely. I mean, I feel like I use filters on Snapchat, and like sometimes like that's the only way I can like like send pictures to people. Is like I look better with the filter on. I'm gonna use the filter. So,
That's what I want to do.
yeah, it's really like you know you use it, you don't use it, but it does sometimes overtake the way you see things.
It does. But I do feel like there's a shift in it where there's a realization is the same way we look at makeup almost. Like
Yeah,
thing because people like I mean, I've seen some makeup that quite frankly is better than a filter where I'm like, you look nothing like yourself. But
yeah,
it's not a judgment thing. It's like it's the same as any way you want to express yourself. You want me to
exactly.
want this, it's your self-expression.
Hmm.
Okay, so when I scroll through TikTok, and I do, I'm horrible because it's like a TV channel. I don't feel overly influenced to purchase all the time. There's little things. How heavily influenced do you feel when you're scrolling through social or when you are, you have your favorite influencers. How much do you purchase based on what they're recommending?
Yeah, I would say it really depends on the product,
Right.
like there are some things where I am very easily influenced. Like I'll see something and I'm like, I want that. That's cute, like I've been looking for something that's similar to that. I'm gonna get that. But then there's also some items where I'm like, why would anyone want that? I don't want that. So,
Want that.
yeah.
It is funny because I always wonder if is it the person that I want to emulate, or is it something about, like, what is it that's influencing me in this? Is it the person? Is it the brand? Is it how they put it together? And it,
Mhm.
a lot of times, I feel like it's the use case more than it is the person or how it looks. It's the use case. Like, how much does this fit into my life? I don't care how much I love that influencer. I'm
Mhm.
like, 7-inch heels aren't my jam. I'm 5'10. Like, I'm never going to wear them. I don't care how great they look. So for me, it almost leans into like a use case. Does this fit what I need?
Yeah. I feel like for me, it's a toss up, because there's like some influencers that I'm like, I love their style. Like that is the kind of style I want to replicate. And maybe that, is a reflection of like my generation and
Right.
being exposed to like, social media and celebrities that like we see something that they're using and like, we want to follow their fashion trends and like what it is that they do. So I'm a little different on that. Like I want to emulate your same energy, like, so
Oh, okay. So that there's the generational. Like I feel like, oh, I hate when they say it. Elder millennial, I think, is where I'm feeling it. So I think that's the difference too with Gen Z as well.
Mhm.
Okay, so on a music, you always put me on to some new musician or something new you're listening to. So what are you listening to now?
Oh, so lately, like on repeat, one of my favorite artists, his name is Q, like just the letter Q, and he just came out with his new album last week. So that has literally just been what I've been listening to. He's kind of like R&B, like mixed. He's like I would say a lot of mixtures of different
Ooh,
genres, but he has like a very almost 80s sounding sound to him.
okay,
So
okay, I'm looking up Q after this. I'm looking at
yeah.
how do you discover new music?
So for me, I don't want to say I'm a gatekeeper of my music, but I just like I pride myself in the new music that I find, and I love sharing that with people. But also I'm like, I want you to appreciate the music I share with you.
You have to value it. So your
But
Spotify playlist is precious. You don't just
yes,
hand out your play.
it's my baby, but um the way I find it is I actually I have Spotify, and so I will circulate through like, similar artists to artists that I listen to. So if you like scroll through your profile or the artist, it'll say like people also listen to this artist. And I'll just sometimes spend my free time like just looking for new music and listening to songs. So that's what I enjoy doing when I'm trying to look for some new music.
I miss the and this is probably just work my stage in life, but I miss my sister's very good at this, and we're only like a year apart, but she just lives a
Mhm.
completely different life. She always discovers new artists by like just stumbling into a concert. She's like, "Yeah, it was like $5 concert.
Yeah.
I went in it," and they'll be like and she goes to all these really cool live concerts and events, and she'll send me these videos of these incredible like R&B artists who are local, and I feel
Hmm.
like I'm never on the pulse of that. So I'm always like, send me your new music. I want to hear what's going on because you get in this loop of like listening to the same
Yeah,
artist. I'm like, I want to
absolutely.
support up and coming artists.
I love that. That sounds like such a great experience to just like stumble upon a $5 concert and
I
go to
know.
it.
No, she has always been. She's like would call me at 2 a.m. and I'm in bed, mom doing, and she'd be like, "Hey, put on an outfit. There's a party. Everyone's dressing in white. It's at the rooftop of somebody." And I'm like, "Man, I expire it. I don't have it, but I appreciate it." So she's the cooler sister of us. Definitely the cooler one. All right, it's time for rapid fire. Let's get
Okay.
into it.
All right.
These will be fun.
Okay.
First thing that comes to you, it doesn't need to be prescriptive, even if you last minute, like, oh, I have a different perspective. Like, let's go for it. So, if you could work with any brand, who would it be?
Probably for beauty, Makeup by Mario, Rare Beauty. I love just Selena Gomez's products, what her brand stands for. I love Steve Madden shoes, so that would probably be another one.
Steve Madden is back. See, you're introducing me to something. Steve Madden
Yeah.
is back.
Hmm.
Rare Beauty's mascara is unmatched. I love their mascara.
Oh
Just
yeah.
one celebrity you would want to collaborate with and one you would want to get advice from.
Collaborate with. I love Jenna Ortega. I just saw an article. She's like the Gen Z queen. So, I just really enjoy, like, she's a great actress, but she's also, I love finding actresses that are like petite and short because I'm a petite and short person. So, like, I would love to collaborate with her. But advice, there's too many celebrities or like influential people out there that I would love to get advice from. So that one
That's
is
a harder
a
one.
sure one.
Harder one. All right. What are the least likely 3 words that someone would use to describe you?
Okay. Hostile.
Yeah.
Um, Unfriendly and unfashionable.
Yeah. Okay, I'm aligned. I know you. I would agree with those. Hostile just would shock me. I'd be like, "Are you okay?" Like I would just, I would feel very out of character for you, and I agree. Fashionable, but like just this effortless beauty. Sometimes I would say that, like, least, so the opposite of effort, like whatever the opposite of that is, you always look, I don't know, glowy, put together. So I need the opposite.
Thank you.
Okay, what is your favorite content sources? It can be anything.
You know, I grew up with Instagram, so honestly, Instagram is still my ride or die. But of course, I've I've got TikTok, so TikTok, but also just uh all of them really.
Have you done Lemonade yet? I'm curious because I feel like only influencers are on Lemon8, but that's TikTok's new Pinterest, I think is what they're trying to go after.
Is yeah. So I did download Lemonade and I made one post on it, and then I never went back on the app again. But maybe I think it needs to warm up a little bit more and get a little more widespread because I really did just see like already people that are like famous on TikTok were the people that were using Lemonade. So I'm sure they were like an ambassador or something. So I'm waiting for more versatile, more diverse.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. That rollout strategy was weird. I was like, why would you pick only like they only went to influencers? And because of that, it almost breaks the model of how social media has grown previously. Because this is before your time, but Facebook grew on college campuses, and then Instagram had its photo sharing, and they had a different. And so to go straight to influence, even TikTok started with
Mhm.
people emulating music and dances and things. So to go straight to influencers felt like a
Mhm.
weird way to launch social media. That strategy was interesting to me.
It
Right.
was. I would
It's
agree.
like I know what they're gonna say. Like I know that one.
Yeah.
If you devoted the rest of your life to a social impact cause, what would it be?
Oh, um, women's rights. Definitely, something back home with um, preserving native Hawaiian wildlife and just the land, especially. It's, you know, I want to preserve it. I want to protect it. I have so much love and appreciation for it. So that would be probably another one.
I love it. Yes, please. I want generations to be able to enjoy that beauty.
Exactly.
All right. You have $300 to spend on something selfish. It cannot be some immensely amazing cause. It just has to be ridiculously selfish. What are you spending $300 on?
Mocha Jordans.
Yes. Okay. So the Jordan thing kills me because I want them so bad, but I'm like, yeah, this is unreasonable. And I'm like, who cares? People want Louis Vuittons that are Louis Vuittons. I'm like, no, no. I just want Jordans. They're comfortable. My feet love them. So
Exactly. And the mocha color, I love the color brown, and I was not lucky enough on the app to get it, and the resale price is in that price range. So
you
that's
have tiny feet though. So like the resale price for you is going to be even lower. Like
no,
the
I have actually like normal size feet for the average woman, so it's not lucky.
not okay. So I'm projecting. So I'm thinking you said petite, and I'm like, oh, she has little feet.
Yeah.
So one of my friends can wear like kid sizes, and I can't stand her because she always has the newest Jordans. But I'm like, it's because you wear tiny, tiny feet shoes. I'm tall and I wear an 8.5, 9, and I never win that lotto. Like I can never win that sneaker
Mhm.
lotto. I need a bot or however they're doing it.
Yeah, bots, AI, maybe AI can buy some.
Maybe AI. I'm like, AI, what time do I need to put this credit card in? Because I want, there was a gold and black pair that I want. There's a pink pair. There's so many pairs where I'm like, as soon as those come back. But I'm feeling the mocha is chef's kiss. They really are.
So nice.
Neutral, you can wear them with a suit. Anyway, we're moving past the Mocha. If anyone's listening and wants to give Larissa Mocha Jordans,
Yes, please.
uh, would your 12-year-old self think you're cool?
I think so. She would think I'm pretty amazing.
I love it. I think she would too. I didn't know 12-year-old you, but I think you're cool, and I'm pretty sure she would too. So. All right, that's the end of the rapid fire questions. I want to give you a chance. Anything you want to share about what you're doing? Anything I should have asked you?
I think you covered everything. I mean, it was awesome. I really loved, sharing and answering all your questions. So it was awesome.
Perfect. Do you want to share any social media profiles or anyone can follow you?
Sure, absolutely. Should I
Do it. Go for it. Lay it out.
You can follow me Instagram, Larissa Kaiulani, LarissAKaiulani.
Perfect. Love it. Because someday you'll be some beauty empire, tech empire. And I'm like, I knew Larissa when. And so we'll want to make sure they follow you.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Larissa. This has been incredible. And thanks for being one of my first guests.
Thank you, Bianca, for having me. I always, appreciate your mentorship. I appreciate your guidance, and I'm always, on your side, rooting for you.
Same. At any point, same. Thank you.